We are taking calls at 617-830-4750. Let's go to our next caller from the 330 area code. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. My name's Alan from Cleveland, Ohio.
Great. What's on your mind?
Oh, I was kind of wondering what you thought about people like like Dave Rubin or like secular talk on YouTube and that sort of idea of like a regressive versus progressive left, and like the idea of having like a left social agenda while having like a libertarian or like a left economic agenda versus like a libertarian social agenda.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't think Dave
Like what?
Rubin and Kyle Kulinski are the same. In fact, they've kind of been involved in a Twitter battle, or they were a couple of weeks ago that I was watching. But I guess you're not saying that they're the same, right?
No, I've just seen a lot of sort of his YouTube video, both of their YouTube videos, sort of criticizing things like I think affirmative action was one of them, and when they let that Sikh guy in the military wear the headwear that he wears, and he was kind of complaining that if you're going to let religious people wear the headwear, you have to let other people wear headwear. Just like you can't just exclude religious people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen those clips,
So
so I can't
that's sort
comment.
of
But I
like
mean, I think that the more interesting thing you're getting at is this idea of overlapping philosophies, where someone might have left economic views, but libertarian social views, et cetera. I mean, I think the more interesting question is, in what areas is there overlap between, for example, libertarian social politics and progressive social politics? I think that there's significant overlap
right,
in many areas, although sometimes for different reasons, right? Like the reasons why a libertarian and a progressive might have the same point of view on a social issue would not necessarily be the same. From one side, it might be out of a sort of egalitarian perspective, whereas on the libertarian side, it may be from as the
right,
name suggests, liberty perspective. Or the same question could apply to why do some libertarians and some fiscal conservative Republicans have overlapping views on some economic policy, not for the same reasons necessarily.
right,
So I think that is an
right,
interesting angle to explore. We've been talking about it quite a bit. And you know what's interesting is that the Trump era actually may open the door to many of these strange political bedfellows to actually work together, because if
right,
Trump's
right.
approval does not improve within the next 6 months, I would suggest, just this week we had Lindsey Graham and John McCain and other prominent Republicans being really critical of what's going on with Trump
hmm
and Russia. You may actually see more
hmm
Republican and progressive alliances formed, at least around some issues.
Right. Yeah, and I was kind of also wondering, like for example, specifically like affirmative action, how you think, like some people think that it's necessary to sort of, obviously during like the civil rights era or something, it was necessary to put forth those types of ideas for a temporary amount of time, or, whatever it may be. And do you think that there are like better alternatives to that sort of like, it's almost like an authoritarian thing to do, and I wonder if you think that there's like better alternatives, or if the government doesn't have a place in there, or if you agree with those types of programs.
Well, there's a contingent that says affirmative action is racism. Affirmative action is no different than saying black people can't go to the same
Right.
restaurants as white people. I reject that altogether. What I do think is really valuable when we think about the need for affirmative action, and I've used a Monopoly game example to talk about this before. I won't repeat it now, but it's widely available online. You can check that out. What I think would be
Right.
more powerful would be if we can work together to get to a point where affirmative action is just demonstrably no longer necessary in any way. And I think that that's where
Right.
you're going to get more disagreement from left and right and libertarian, et cetera, which is, well, first of all, what needs to be done? And secondly, how should it be done? I think that's where you're going to have more conflict among different political stripes, so to speak.
Right. Right.
All right, listen, thank
Right.
you so much for the call.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate very, very important issues there, and we're going to continue talking about them.